Welcome to the America 250 PA Start Here, America Did podcast, telling the unique stories that make up the diverse fabric of Pennsylvania.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the America 250 PA podcast. I'm your host, Sydney Harris. If you've been listening to previous episodes, you probably know by now I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And yes, I am aware I do say that a lot. But if you know anyone from Pittsburgh, you know just how much pride we carry for our city. And every Pittsburgher knows the immense joy of making that trip to the Arnold Palmer Regional Airport in Westmoreland County each year to catch one of their absolutely incredible air shows. My grandfather, Papa Harris, used to tell me stories about how he and my grandmother would look forward to it every single year. They try to find that perfect spot. But if you've been there, you know that every seat is the best seat in the house, because really, all you have to do is look up. But for them, it wasn't about the planes. It was about the joy of being there, out in the community, together, watching some of the most astonishing inventions ever created soar right overhead. This year will be my third year in a row attending, and this show is especially meaningful to the Latrobe and Pittsburgh communities because it marks the 100th anniversary of the airport's very first air show. That's right, 100 years of air shows at the Arnold Palmer Regional Airport. The 2025 show, taking place June 21st and 22nd, promises to be unforgettable. From F-16 tactical demos and historic aircraft displays, to vendors, family-friendly attractions, and headline performances by the Royal Canadian Air Force Snowbirds, it's a celebration of aviation, past, present, and future. But this event is more than just a thrilling air show. It's a tribute to the legacy of a regional airport named after one of Pennsylvania's greatest icons, Arnold Palmer, and a testament to the power of community, innovation, and the spirit of flight. Joining us today is Gabe Monzo, Executive Director of the Arnold Palmer Regional Airport, to talk about the history of this incredible place, the vision behind the 100th Anniversary Air Show, and how Pennsylvania's aviation story continues to soar, especially as we look ahead to America's 250th anniversary in 2026. Gabe, we are so happy to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit about this today.
So before we dive into the air show, can you introduce yourself and share a bit about your background and your role as Executive Director of the Arnold Palmer Regional Airport?
Sure. My name's Gabe Monzo. I'm the Executive Director for Arnold Palmer Regional Airport and Ross Draper Airport. We have two different airports. One's commercial service, and we have a general aviation airport that we take care of. I've been here a long time. I started here as a maintenance man in 1983, and I've been here ever since. I moved into management in 1985, moved my way up through the ranks as people retired and people moved on, and now I'm the boss. It's a wonderful place. Aviation is in my blood. I grew up across the street from the airport. Been a great thing for us, for me and my family, and very proud to be a part of this airport and the rich history, not only of the airport itself, but of air shows and what we're going to talk about.
Speaking of history, this year marks the 100th anniversary of the very first air show at this airport. I know you weren't around back then, but could you take us back to that moment in history? What was the first show like, and how has the tradition evolved over the past century?
Sure. The first air show was probably a very haphazard, sort of by accident type thing. Charlie Carroll used to run this airport. He actually initiated the airport from, it used to be called Longview Field. What he did, he was a pilot, and he was the first airport manager. He got a couple of his cronies together. He said, hey, let's fly around on a Sunday afternoon. So they flew around and people enjoyed it. And lo and behold, that was what we consider our first air show in 1925.
What does it mean to you and the airport to be celebrating a full century of air shows in 2025?
Well, air shows are a very diverse opportunity. Some air shows are just a matter of having a couple guys that want to fly on a weekend, something similar to what got us started in air shows years ago. Then you can get into the full-fledged jet teams, Blue Angels, Thunderbirds, and having the people that are familiar with that and the people that have lived through so many air shows. The important thing is we didn't have 100 air shows. This is the 100th anniversary of our first air show. But we did have probably, I've been involved with probably 30 or 40 in some way, shape, or form. So having a team that's experienced in what it takes to bring 50, 80, 100,000 people onto your airport safely, getting them off safely, that's a big deal. So, you spend 363 days a year keeping people out of your airport so there's nobody doing bad things, and you spend 3 days trying to bring everybody in. So, it's quite the change in the way you do business.
And just to highlight your staff and how wonderful of a team you are, could you talk a little bit about your Hawaiian shirt tradition?
We started that probably, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. It's always a madhouse here. It's controlled chaos when you're trying to do an air show. And Saturday is the absolute worst day of an air show when you have a weekend air show because everybody needs something. Extension cords, you need a Sharpie pencil, you need a tablet. Who knows what it is that you might need or do. So we found out that on Sunday morning, it's like this lull moves over an air show. It's like you know what you have to do. You haven't opened the gates yet. You feel this calm before the storm. And knowing that, you're going to have 50, 60,000 people converge on you in 2 or 3 hours, and everything's in place because you went through the whole practice on Saturday. So we came up with the Hawaiian shirts, and we wanted to show our enthusiasm, and the Hawaiian shirts are very party-like, and we thought it was really cool. On Sunday morning, there's about 25 of us, 30 of us that are really the key people that make this air show what it is. And we have a lot of volunteers, but there's about 20 or 30 of us that really are embedded into it, would muster near any one of the jets, whether it be the F-35, the F-16, the Growler, the F-18, old warbirds, whatever it is. And we take a photo op on Sunday morning before things go crazy. So that's where the Hawaiian shirt came from. And this year, we actually incorporated our primary sponsor, Shop and Save. We actually got their logo as part of the Hawaiian shirt. They are fantastic. They are awesome. Everybody's excited. Our guys get excited. Our staff gets excited. Everybody takes a big breath and says, wow, we're doing something for the community, and we feel good about it. So that's primarily what it is. The commitment of the staff, and I know we talked about the staff, but, it's just one of those things where those people, that's what makes this happen. It's not any one person, it's 30 people. And when the staff is here, each person in the staff has 2 or 3 people to work with them. That gives you like 300 people to do an air show. You take your 30 core people that know what's going on, know how it's going to happen. We have plenty of meetings leading into the air show itself. But when you have knowledgeable staff that have the idea, have the concept, have the whole goal in mind, and they go out and they pick up 5 or 6 volunteers and they explain to them, now you have a staff of 300 that actually makes the air show what it is. And that's the special sauce that makes air shows what they are. Having people that are committed to the airport and having people that want to have a good time and have fun with it. And one thing about air shows, you walk around with a smile on your face. And if you didn't come in with a smile on your face, you're going to have one by the time you leave, because it's just an amazing opportunity to see what's out there.
There's nothing quite like seeing you, Gabe, and the rest of your staff around the air show in your Hawaiian shirts. I love it every year. It brings smiles to attendees every year. And I have personally seen the 2025 Shop and Save Hawaiian shirt, and it is amazing. It's spectacular. So for anybody going, I do encourage you to go. You got to go on Sunday, and you have to see the staff in the Hawaiian shirts. I love it. But moving on, I want to talk a little bit about the air show itself. This year is shaping up to be a spectacular one. Can you walk us through what visitors can expect at the 2025 event?
Well, this year we have scheduled the Snowbirds. The Snowbirds are a Canadian precision team. They're not as loud as the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds, but they are a precision team. They're very aerobatic. This is international. We're an international air show. And to augment that, we're excited about having the Air Force F-16 tactical demo, augmented with a lot of biplanes and Taylor clip wings and aerobatics. It's going to be a great show this year. We're very excited to put it on.
And how do you strike that balance between showcasing modern aviation technology and the legacy of aviation history during the show? I do know you have different planes and different aspects of your show.
We have an air boss, Dave Schultz Airshows. He comes in and he helps us. We fill out a Department of Defense request, and we do that 2 years ahead of time. And what we do is throughout the process, as things develop, every year there's an air show convention, and you go to that convention or you have representatives at that convention that walk around, see what's new, see what's exciting. The jet truck was a good one. The bomb blast at the end of the one show, that was one thing that we did. So you get to see what's exciting out there, and you pick and choose, and you try to maintain an even keel as far as civilian performers are concerned. And then your DoD request, your Department of Defense request, you do everything you can to talk to all the military branches to find out what's available and who can come home to fly their airplane. Just so happens the F-16 is going to be at our show this year. That pilot for the F-16 tactical demo is from Reading. Being from Pennsylvania and him having a chance to visit his folks and do his thing in front of his folks. I believe he's going to be at Harrisburg's air show also. It's a great thing, and it's great for airports. It's great for air shows. Gives a swell of pride to the community. And Pennsylvania is a strong supporter of the military, all the military. And it's been noted several times when we do get the Blue Angels or Thunderbirds or whoever from the military supporting us, they know that the recruiting is fantastic in the Commonwealth.
And over the years, are there any particularly memorable moments or standout performances from past air shows that you'd like to share or talk about today?
I have my own favorites, and people don't know why. I love the Blue Angels, and they do such a fine job, and the jets are awesome, and they make a lot of noise, and they really have their business at hand. They're very professional. But I love Fat Albert. Fat Albert is the C-130 that carries the Blue Angels to their areas. And Fat Albert, when he does his routine, he actually does a routine where he backs up on the runway and goes in reverse. And he does a high, like an attack approach to the runway where he just sort of falls out of the sky and lands on the runway and stops in 200 feet. I don't know. It's probably not 200 feet, but it looks like 200 feet. It's just awesome to watch. And I love watching him. And I like that, to see that big tub do all those things and fly around like that. It's just amazing to me. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun to watch.
I thought you were going to say the plane that lands on the truck, that you actually have a truck that, at least in a show I've seen, a truck that goes down the runway and there's an airplane that lands on it.
Yeah, the moving landing strip. That's a fun one. Oh, believe me, there's so many things that go on, but when you see something that really you don't want to miss, that's the one I don't want to miss. If Fat Albert's performing, I want to see him. I want to see him do his thing, and there's a lot of things other than the flight. The Blue Angels, Thunderbirds, they're so fantastic. I mean, they're so overwhelming, and you see people out there watching them, and they're just in awe and amazed because we don't have a military base in our region that they're constantly taking off and landing. So just getting that opportunity in Western Pennsylvania is quite the unique thing.
It really is. And so I do want to talk about your community. I know you are a community guy. Everything you do is for the community. How do you think the air show itself impacts your local Latrobe community and Pittsburgh community, whether it's economic benefits, civic pride, or regional recognition?
Well, I think the regional recognition is there. As far as monetary is concerned, we have never done an economic impact of the air show. But I can tell you when the Blue Angels come in, yeah, there's 8 or 9 pilots, and there's 75 support personnel. And you need a room for each one of them, and you need cars to move them back and forth. So you're renting cars, you're renting room nights, and you start adding up room nights, and you have maybe 500-600 room nights for an air show. So, economic impact to the community is huge. Part of the heritage of Pennsylvania is the tourism. So having an air show and bringing people from probably 5-6 states away to see an air show, they buy a hamburger, they stay in a room, they're driving here, they're buying gas. So who knows what the economic impact is? It is well into the millions of dollars. So when you start thinking about what it means to the community, believe me, there's naysayers. There's people out there that doesn't like the noise, doesn't like the hubbub, doesn't like the traffic jams, there's things that come with an air show that are challenging. And when you have a aerobatic box, you have to ask some of the neighbors of the airport. You have to ask them to leave their house during those aerobatics. That's a big deal. I mean, that's a really big deal for me to ask Sydney, hey, Sydney, can you move out of your house for 2 hours on Saturday and 2 hours on Sunday? So you have to take care of those people. You try to appease them the best you can. So, but the other part of the community, I know that there's people that come to this air show that how dedicated they are to air shows and they want to see something fly. Okay. And then there's people that unless you have the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds or the Snowbirds, they're not coming. It doesn't matter. It's just, and you have the whole gamut in between. Some people say, oh, I've never seen them perform, or maybe it's something new or a jet truck or whatever it is. The community reacts to it accordingly. They know that our staff, and you talked about our staff earlier, they know that they're committed to put on a show. And it's not just one person. It's not me. It's not any one person. It's history of this airport and what it means to the community. Not everybody likes airplanes flying over their house, but they know that it's an important part of the community and economic impact, what it brings to the region, what notoriety, sometimes good, sometimes not so good. So this is our way of saying, hey, here's an air show. Come on out and have fun, spend a couple bucks, eat a sausage sandwich. You have all kind of food and everything. We open our doors today. Come see us, see what we are, talk to the people that are here, find a guy in a Hawaiian shirt and say hello. When you bring that many people in from all different areas, people start getting interested in aviation for whatever reason, whether they'd like to see them fly, whether they'd like to push one back with a tug, whether they want to, whatever they want to do on an airport. There's so many diverse things that make airports unique. It's like being in your own little city. And that's what makes it fun. That's why I've been here for 42 years, because it's still fun. The people are genuine when they have an airplane land at their airport, especially when it's something like the stealth fighter or the F-18 Growler with a local kid that went to high school at Latrobe High School, and he brings his F-18 back to show mom and dad. I mean, that's a lot of pride in the community. So you try to build on that.
And we're approaching America's 250th anniversary in 2026. Speaking about Arnold Palmer Regional Airport's contribution to the future of aviation, how do events like this air show, building off of getting people interested, contributes to the celebration of our Commonwealth and our country's journey?
As far as Pennsylvania is concerned, they're deep in the history of aviation. We have our own history book about Arnold Palmer Regional Airport, and there's a lot of airports out there. Pennsylvania is deep in, Amelia Earhart, these kind of people that were the pioneers in aviation. We were embedded in it. I mean, we're part of it. We're a living, breathing operation that over 100 years, just our air show itself, it shows you the history. And these guys, when they're first flying these things, heard a story about Amelia Earhart. They had to keep buying these or providing her with these aircraft because she kept crashing. Who does that? I mean, where's the sensibility come in that? It's like, okay, well, we broke that one. Let's get another one. And, it's initiative. It shows Pennsylvania how strong the Commonwealth is for aviation. And yeah, there's a lot of other places, Dayton, places that surround us. And the first scheduled airmail pickup was held here in Latrobe in the 30s. So, you have things like that, and then the key word there is scheduled airmail pickup. And that was in the 1930s, done here in Latrobe. So, Pennsylvania is strong as far as aviation is concerned, and we generate a lot of business because of it.
And so I have a feeling we will have some listeners who are interested in seeing the 100th anniversary of Airshows at Latrobe this year. Where can they go to learn more, to buy tickets, or plan their visit to the air show?
PalmerAirport.com. There's an airport section and there's an air show section. If you stop at our sponsor store, which is, probably 70 stores in our region, you get a ticket to come to the air show for $14. You can stop on your way to Latrobe at any Shop and Save store, or you can get on the website and order a VIP ticket. Our VIP ticket's $200. You're treated to a day in a tent. It's the upper echelon of what we provide. Food all day. You get a golf cart that picks you up at your car and brings you to the VIP area. You don't have to walk. It's great for, now that I am getting up there in age, it's great for the kids to buy for their parents and for their grandparents, because they don't have to worry about restroom facilities. They have heated, air-conditioned restroom facilities, and that's a VIP ticket. You're provided to all day, and they'll take you back to your car, so you don't have to walk or anything like that. So, you have the whole gamut from $14 if you want to pay $60 for the preferred seating area. Those are your options.
And to wrap up today, I want to talk about the future of aviation in Pennsylvania. Can you imagine the next 100 years of air shows? What gives you the most hope or excitement?
The most hope and excitement is, you have second generation aircraft, you have third generation. I think we're on sixth generation now. This is the technology that our corporations, not only from around the world, but in Pennsylvania, especially Lockheed Martin and Johnstown, places like that, you want to see it. You want to see it. You want to feel it. Well, when an F-16 kicks an afterburner on the runway, or an F-35 kicks an afterburner, and you feel it in your gut. It's a full-fledged experience where it brings tears to your eyes just to see the technology and know that, we built that. That was built by our graduates that graduated high school, and now we're flying them and doing that kind of stuff. And when you see that and you hear that and you vision that, you're just amazed that, we have that technology. Now, when you get into the future and what you see down the road, and you see some of these advanced air mobility type things and electric airplanes that are going to bebop us around the state of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania from point A to point B. We just had a event here with high school kids and junior high kids where they actually designed vertiports for us in Johnstown. It was fantastic. These kids are excited. These are junior high and senior high kids that are excited about what advanced air mobility is going to be. Are you going to be able to come to Latrobe Airport or Arnold Palmer Regional Airport, get on an advanced air mobility jitney and fly to Johnstown or fly to Pittsburgh or fly to Delmont? It doesn't need an airport. It needs we like the airports to be involved because airports have terminals. When you have a terminal building, you have people getting on these things. And when you have an air show to show what's out there and to show the concepts, that's where people get ideas. Everybody thinks that, this was one person's idea, and it's not. When you have air shows and you show what's out there, what's new and exciting, and everybody has ideas. Well, what if we did this? Or what if we did that? Would that make it better? And that's where, it initiates the thought process about aviation and advances everything that has to do with Pennsylvania and what we represent. Pennsylvania is a very proud state. We were around for a long, long time, and, it's 250 years, and we're very proud of what we've been able to do, and we'll keep doing it. And, it's a lot of fun, and air shows help that along.
Well, Gabe, that is all I have for you today. I am always so excited for your annual air show, so you'll be seeing me there. But I do want to say thank you so much. And to our listeners who have not gone or are thinking about going this year, make sure to do so. It is quite a show, and the community that puts it on is really wonderful. So thank you again, Gabe.
Oh, you're welcome, Sydney. Appreciate the opportunity.
What an amazing look at a century of flight, community celebration, and innovation right here in Pennsylvania. A big thank you to Gabe Monzo for joining us and sharing the story behind the Arnold Palmer Regional Airport and its incredible airshow legacy. As we approach the 100th anniversary of this historic event, we're reminded that these air shows are more than just thrilling performances in the sky. They're a celebration of the people, the passion, and the progress that keep Pennsylvania soaring. Aviation has always been an important part of Pennsylvania's story, from our early contributions to flight and aerospace innovation to the regional airports that connect our communities and power our economy today. As we look ahead to America's 250th anniversary, honoring that legacy is more important than ever. Whether you're an aviation enthusiast, a history lover, or just looking for a meaningful and exciting experience with your family, the 2025 Airshow in Latrobe is not to be missed. For more information on tickets, schedules, and how to plan your visit, make sure to check out the Arnold Palmer Regional Airport's website at palmerairport.com and follow along on social media. Thanks again for tuning into this episode of the America 250 PA podcast. We'll see you at the air show. And as always, stay PA proud.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cassandra Coleman, Executive Director of America 250 PA. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. We encourage you to learn more about America 250 PA and send us your podcast ideas at america250pa.org.
This has been the America 250 PA Start Here, America Did podcast, produced by Commonwealth Media Services. Stay tuned for more epic Pennsylvania stories at america250pa.org.